what up, sports fans all over the world? It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan, here with my guy, Adam Costas. Zion's and if still having a few scheduling conflicts. He gonna be back soon. I promise you, folks. He'll be back on him. He'll be back rolling again soon with us, man. But right now he's dealing, living life, doing things he got to take care of, handling his business, man. But
We're the old heads that have nothing to do.
anyway, yeah, we the guys that ain't got nothing to do on a Friday night. This is the Premium Takes Podcast. Let's go. What's going on? What's up, Alex, man? How you doing, bro? Thanks for stopping in, man.
Told you there was at least one out there waiting for us. So glad we're here.
Absolutely, man. Friday night. Feeling good, man. Week two is upon us. We'll see what week two brings us. Last night, oh, that was a rough one last night for the Miami Dolphins, and in more ways than one.
Yep.
And what we gonna? What you was going to say?
No, I just said, yep.
Oh yeah.
I agreed with you.
And but before we get into all the sports stuff, man, we're gonna just go and look back at this week. And obviously, we lost a big one this week, an icon, James Earl Jones, the legendary James Earl Jones, 92 years young, passed away earlier this week. Darth voice of Darth Vader, the voice behind just it's one of the most iconic voices ever. I mean, ever in the world, ever. Period. And I mean, his one of the most recognizable, and just great career, man. And I know Adam, you was you're a Stars Wars guy, man. So I know you got some thoughts on the passing of James Earl Jones.
Uh, May the force be with you, James, because he was amazing. Field of Dreams, he was a good one. If through build it, they will come. He was also great in Sandlot. When the kids were trying to get the Babe Ruth autographed baseball, he was great in that. So he's been in a lot of iconic films. Obviously, my favorite is Darth Vader. That's how I always know him. That's how he'll always be to me. The voice of my most, um, I guess, my most followed like action figure or villain of all time. Like I loved Darth Vader growing up. I loved everything about him, what he did. His voice was such a tone setter. I mean, fun fact for those that may not know, the guy that actually played Darth Vader was like a guy from the Midwest, like a cowboy. So he had like some type of, Southern drawl. And George Lucas goes, we can't have, a robot that's powerful of the galaxy having like a Southern drawl after every time he talks, like, so they were like, we need somebody to come in here and give us a powerful voice. And they got James, and obviously, the rest is history. Another fun fact is he wasn't even credited in the first time the movie came out when the first credits rolled because he didn't think it was going to be a hit, so he didn't want to put his name on it. Little did he know that it became one of the most watched sci-fi movies of all time. So now his name is in the credits. When you do see it, they amended that little piece going forward in the new Star Wars is going forward. So, he's been iconic. He's had more, there's many more iconic movies that he had that I didn't see when growing up in my younger years. He's got a lot of them across the board. And he's been, I don't know if you guys remember when I watched when they used to have telephone companies all over the world. He used to be Bell Atlantic, the heart of communication, right? That was his
Yep.
brand. Bell Atlantic was the heart of communication. Like because there was Darth Vader telling you about the heart of communication, right? And then he would tell you about 1-800-COLLECT or something like that. Like it was like he really did a lot of things. And of course, if you're a Disney fan like myself as well, for certain movies, Lion King, he was Mufasa, one of the most iconic lion characters of all time in Disney, the history of characters, Mufasa, and he was Mufasa again in the remake of The Lion King. So, James Earl Jones, great guy. He's one of those guys like Morgan Freeman. You'd want him to basically narrate your life, get up in the morning. eating breakfast, like things like that that would just be so funny. Don't join the dark side. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, it's just don't take the car today. Like so, you
Yeah.
know, James was one of a kind, and he will be missed, and there won't be anyone like him.
Never be another James Earl Jones, man. Rest in peace. I didn't even realize he was actually that quite that old. I didn't realize he was actually 92 years old, man. That's a lot of life, man, to live right there, man. That's a blessing all in itself, man. 92 years on this earth. So, and he was, like I
And
said,
he was
like
a
we just mentioned, the man was an absolute icon.
he was a good theater actor too.
Absolutely.
So I see. I know James Earl
Absolutely.
Jones because
So
I
rest in peace.
I studied him a little bit because I wanted to know who this guy was. Why am I seeing him? Because once I unmasked who Darth Vader was as a kid, and finally put the voice to a face, I wanted to know what else he did. And of course, he's in some of the most iconic movies that I've been a part of in my childhood. So I've got to know who James Earl Jones is. And like you said, I didn't mean to cut you off on your tribute, but he meant a lot to me growing up in my movies. So it was a sad day. There's only the other actor that I felt bad about this bad that had the same kind of impact or similar one was Robin Williams. Had the same impact when Robin Williams kind of died because he was in everything that I grew up watching. So James Earl Jones, piece of me, piece of my childhood. You were there with me. So thank you.
Absolutely, man. Rest in peace, James Earl Jones. Condolences to all his family, friends, fans, and everyone who loved James Earl Jones, man. Just rest in peace, man. A legend. Another legend has gone and gotten his wings. But let's get to some sports, man. Let's get to some football. Last night, Thursday night football down in Miami, down in South Beach. Dolphins, you know, they never even got out of the starting blocks in this one. This game was pretty much over in the first quarter. Everybody was all you've been talking about was the Bills, how much changed, and they have no defense now. They don't even have anybody on defense. This, that, and the other. Well, three interceptions later for Tua, one of them being a pick six. Yeah, not. I think Buffalo's defense is looking quite all right, and I do agree with this comment here, Adam. Alex, I was going to definitely get to that. Tua probably does need to retire, man. You got to think about the long term future of your life. This ain't just about the present right now. You got to think, man. You don't want to be 40 years old and pretty much walking around like a vegetable. So, I mean, you got to really think about it, man. Four concussions in the last, I believe, 5 years, or three in the last 3 years, as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, you just go back to that scary moment on Monday night when like fingers were all bending up, all weird, and that shit was still kind of bone chilling, man, to me. I mean, just sitting there thinking about that, and I think he has to really sit down and really do some soul searching and look at the big picture. But any thoughts on the game, Adam?
Well, I feel bad for Tua, but I feel like he could have avoided this. He's running and then he puts his head down like, bro, slide. You had the first down, slide. This is why they teach you to slide. So if you don't have a concussion, right? So you can avoid that. I mean, if your guy is going to hit you when you're sliding, then they're going to get a 15-yard penalty and a flag. Okay. These guys are going to hit you as a runner, you know, and he's a guy that hasn't like Dan. This is why I'm worried about Daniel Jones sometimes because those guys they think let me go crash into the guy. Well, guess what, bro? Those people are coming at you like 20 miles an hour, full tilt, and they're going to take they're taught from a young age on the defensive side of the football to when a quarterback comes around, knock his fucking block off. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay, I don't know if they taught you that, Mac, when you were growing up. That's how they taught me as a defense growing up. That guy comes out,
Absolutely.
lay him the fuck out. Okay, so if you know you're already a marked man, you take that slide. That's why Russell Wilson lasted so long because he'll take the 5-yard slide right out of bounds. You got to be aware, right? I feel like some of these people, don't want to slide because they want to look tough. Well, guess what? You're not tough if you're leaving in a body bag and your team is now kaput because you're out for the year because you have another concussion. Instead, you should have slid, and now you have your career keep going, and you have the game keep going. And then you could have had it be a coaching decision to pull you out for your safety. Now, I don't know. He probably will try to come back and play. I doubt he should. I think his days are numbered. I think if I were him, I would call Tom Brady and say, "Hey, man, how's broadcasting? Because I want to get into that right now because I'm not going to be playing football anymore." And if I'm the Dolphins, I'm calling Tom Brady right now. I'm like, "Yo, you still want to play? Because we got a Super Bowl ready team for you if you want to come here." So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't think he comes back this year. I don't. He might. I don't know if that's a good idea. I'm not the Dolphins training staff. I'm not the concussion protocol. I know if he does come back, let's say, and they don't put him on IR, somebody get this man. Someone bring the guy who was up in Hard Knocks, Eberflus or whoever the quarterback's coach was. Bring that slip and slide in, and this is what you're doing all weekend. You're not going out to the club. You're not partying. You're not studying tape. What you're doing is you're slip and sliding. That's all you're doing. And until you get that down, you're not leaving, the practice facility because if you want to play the game, you got to learn to protect yourselves. And that's what some of these guys do. That's what Eli used to do. He learned how to fall and protect himself and go down when he needed to. Now, Eli was a klutz, and there were times where he fumbled the ball and did those things. But the point was he understood it. Tua, I feel bad for you, man, but I saw the hit. I watched the play live. You didn't duck. You put your shoulder down. Someone came and laid you out, and they hit you in the head. And that's what's going to happen in a violent sport when you put your head down. Especially you should be the most cognizant of all.
I hear you, but I think that comes with just that competitiveness at that to getting their asses kicked, and I mean, you just feel like he's going to try to get everything he can, but at the end of the day, like you said, you're the quarterback, you're the guy they
Listen,
just paid, and they need you to protect. You got to protect yourself, like you said. I definitely agree with that. You got to protect yourself at all times, man. Just want to say what up to my guys, man. Jumping in here. No
Mets, what's
Mets,
up,
no
man?
Nets, no Jets, my guy, man. Appreciate you stopping in always. Scrub Zero, thank you for stopping in. Appreciate you, my man.
It's
But
it's like it's like when John Elway did that dive into the end zone, right? We don't want a 38-year-old man diving and flipping into the end zone. It worked out. He didn't break a hip, and it worked out. And you're like, all right, thank God. But that's not the smartest move at that age. I understand competitive nature, but we got to start to understand awareness because that mental fortitude, that's called the learning, right? And these guys need to learn to play, live to play another day. You're no good to us on the bench. Live to play another day. If you've got awareness as you have the first down, you're driving. You don't need to run a guy over. Yes. See.
I mean, I agree. It's kind of coincidental that it was Damar Hamlin as well. I mean, that was kind of
Yeah.
ironic.
But what I'm saying though, Mets, is I think that one is probably a little bit more avoidable than the other guy when a guy is crashing on you and you're trying to put your arms down. I get getting hit on the head. Troy Aikman did that. Steve Young, that's one of the reasons why he left the game early. He's a small guy. If you don't have a chance to brace yourself, you're going to use your back and your head. I understand it. But at the same time, when you're sliding, do you think, let us put it this way. The probability of him getting a concussion in the pocket again is probably less than the percentage of him getting a concussion running towards somebody at full speed with his head down. Like his head was down. That's the other thing. It's not like he protected himself. He went to try to shoulder a guy, and the guy came in and hit him, and wasn't trying to hurt him, obviously, but the way his body came in on that collision hit him just right at the top of the helmet, and good night the lights. So I would have told him to slide. He had ample time to slide, but that's not the bigger issue. The bigger issue is the Miami Dolphins are ass. They're ass cheeks. Okay, fraudulence. I think that's what they use the word frauds. That's what they are. Fraudulent team. Mike fucking McDaniels looks like he put his fucking hand in a fucking electrical socket. He's been having too much of that Miami nightlife, feeling himself up, right? They ain't got no defense to rely on. Okay, they're a sieve. They never. Alex is right. They never beat a good team. They never beat a team that is actually fucking good. They feast. They're like the Giants of the fucking AFC East. They except they can score. They feast on all the bad teams that don't have a defense that can't catch all their guys, right? But they have no defense. And when they don't score, they don't do anything. They can't move the ball. They have no identity. You know what I'm saying? They have no power. It's basically they're a finesse team, man. Like the thing about the Miami Dolphins, and I don't know if this is how you feel, but when they get punched in the mouth, they don't punch back, bro. If they don't get the first punch off, right? If they don't land the first like 60-yard bomb and kind of open the floodgates, you can beat them. They're not tough.
Yeah, they definitely don't have a lot of that grittiness. You know what I mean? Like that you need. I feel it's like you said, it's like things had to go perfect for them for it to work out. And I mean, okay, it's hard to say that because they did had a big comeback win against Jacksonville on week one, but that was a lot of other things going on with that week. Obviously, we know about the whole Tyreek Hill incident, and I think that just gave everybody a little extra juice anyway. That day
Well,
against the Jacksonville Jaguars. This Buffalo Bills team has absolutely owned Miami over the
Josh
last few
Allen, can you
years
talk about him
anyway.
for a
I
minute?
mean, Josh Allen just yeah, Josh Allen just owns his football team
Right now, is playing
anyway.
like MVP.
And I still thought I still thought that maybe Miami will come out and be able to actually get something done here against the Buffalo Bills finally, but I was definitely way off base with this one. Dolphins, like you said, they're just a fraud. They're just one of those fraudulent teams that look pretty, had a little shine, have a couple
Oh,
cool shiny toys, but but ultimately they're just gonna let you down.
they're that cheap knockoff. That's what they are. They're that cheap knockoff Rolex. It might look good, but underneath it gives you a green wrist, right? That's what they are, man. Bunch of fucking softies. And the thing is about the Jacksonville win, styles make fights, right? Jacksonville's not a track meet team. They're a punch you in the mouth, big play, down the seam kind of slug it out team. They don't score a lot of points. That's not their MO, you know. Buffalo scores points. And Josh Allen, people said he was the most overrated football player. Guess what? He read the press clippings, people. He heard you. He's like, all right, I'm the most overrated. I'm about to be the MVP of this bitch. Okay. Because he is playing better. And some people are saying, what, you know, he has Stephon Diggs. How is he playing better? Well, this seemed to happen with some other player in the NFL when they lose their star receiver. Sometimes they grow exponentially, right? And so, excuse me, like with Eli Manning, he lost Jeremy Shockey, and I felt like he grew when he got Kevin Boss and a few other guys to pass it to because the ego wasn't there to force him the ball and upstage him on the sideline. So now he has Keenan Coleman, who's a young guy. He has the I forget the young man's name, number 10, the little slot receiver they got there, right? They had that guy with the mane coming out of his hair. Like they have tons of people. Plus, they have a running back now who can actually cook. James Cook, no pun intended, but he can actually get going. And then you have Josh Allen right now, who's putting the ball where it needs to be and doesn't have to play because they're the way they're running the football and the way they're winning games. Doesn't have to worry about anything. Their defense is a little susceptible. They do get pressure on the quarterback. Van Miller is still a beast, by the way. Still a beast. They get pressure on the quarterback. So if they play like this,
There you
like they
go.
played against
Like a
Miami,
little
because remember,
Shaquille.
Arizona, they gave up 37 points to, right, to Arizona. But in this game, they looked dominant, right? So styles make fights. I'm hoping Josh Allen can punch his ticket this year. I think I'm telling you people, I think he read the press clippings. And the Bills somehow got better to being a collective offensive unit rather than being a bunch of guys, right? So we'll see how it works out because CJ Stroud has Stephon Diggs right now, and we'll see what he can do with Stephon Diggs because Josh Allen, I think, is going to thrive when he doesn't have to worry about he can play backyard ball. And that's why Mahomes does well. Mahomes doesn't have Tyreek Hill anymore. He can just throw it to whoever's open. He'll move up. There's a red jersey, bang, hit him. There's a red jersey, bang, hit him. If that guy's going to be here, boom, hit him. So, you know, they're going to be a force to
Yeah,
be
I
reckoned
think they
with.
take their chances with Mike White instead of DJ at this point, brother. I think they'd feel better with Mike White.
Look, would you want DJ right now? I wouldn't. Like, if he came off a great game, I would be like, oh great, and they lost. Like he looked like he could be the difference. You probably better off playing Skylar Thompson, their backup, than Daniel Jones. I mean, you're probably gonna get the same fucking result. So, but we're not really gonna get into him because we'll get into that game when we pick him. That's when we'll probably touch on them. But I think Miami,
What's going on, Daniel Barry?
Miami is going to end up in third place in this division. I believe they could end up in fourth place if they don't get a quarterback. This and here can I say something, people? This is what I want to tell you. Okay, look at the Miami Dolphins. Look at them. Who did they bring out to be their backup quarterback? Who? Seventh round fucking pick in Skylar Thompson, who can't throw the ball past 5 yards. Okay, this is why you invest in backup quarterback, people, especially when you have a guy like Tua
I
Tagovailoa
agree.
who has history of getting injured. That should be priority number one after signing the quarterback. You're like, what's next? Let's get a decent backup quarterback. So because this guy, look at the Jets. They have Tyrod Taylor after Aaron Rodgers. That's a decent backup quarterback. And that means their season is not ruined. Okay? Their season's not ruined. There's a certain team in New York, we talk about the same thing. But they're in two different spots. You have Tua Tagovailoa. You're a playoff team. You're a team trying to go for the Super Bowl. You would think Troy Aikman has Steve Berline, right? They has a good backup quarterback. Montana had Young, a good backup quarterback. Like, this is what I mean. You need to start investing. And a guy on this space, I think his name was Base. I'll give him credit. He said, "What's the most important position on the football field?" And everyone named these positions. They know backup quarterback. And you know what? He's right. Because look what Miami's doing. They're scrambling. There's nobody there. There's who are you gonna get? Some young guy? I mean, Tannehill's out there. Maybe you'll get him if you want. Maybe you trade for Trubisky or something like that. But if you're trying to get to the playoffs, fine. If you know that if Tua's gonna be out for an extended period of time, and at this point, you might want to say you might want to put his life ahead of this. What are you gonna do? I mean, it's always funny every time the Giants, and I hate to use them look like they might be in the market for a quarterback. Here comes another team out of nowhere that's going to probably be in the market as well, right? Come next off season, and they're going to need to find somebody. I don't know where they're going to get Mike White. I don't know if wasn't Mike White signed somewhere right now. I thought he was on a team.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Well, that's why we have Google people.
Yeah, I'm not.
Mike White, quarterback. Definitely not that dude. American writer. Oh my god, he looks like a lead singer. He is on the Buffalo Bills. He's on the team just played. That's why they know all your secrets.
Wow.
Mike White gave all the intel. You better be calling up Brandon Bean right now. I will be calling up Brandon Bean right now. Let's if I'm Mike McDaniels, I walk over to the owner and I go, look, I don't know what you have to give to Buffalo, and Buffalo's going to probably be on the other end. Like, you need Mike White now? You want him back now? Let me get a third round pick. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to want to help you out. So, and then Malik Willis just got traded, so you don't have really him. He's starting now. Like, see what I'm saying? Look what Green Bay did. I mean, like it or not, they got a guy in the league that they deem competent. They have somebody there that might be believable, right? I mean, the Eagles, they invested in Kenny Pickett. He doesn't have to be a starter, but if your guy goes down, you have somebody there to do it. Look at the Chiefs. They had Carson Wentz last year. I mean, they don't have to play Carson Wentz anymore, but think about that. They have a guy who has Super Bowl experience. He's a good quarterback to be a backup. I don't want him to be my franchise. But to be my backup, I mean, Miami, next offseason, you got to get two quarterbacks. You got to get your veteran in there and your young guy in there and figure it out because Tua Tagovailoa, I'm sorry, bro. You got to go. You got to go live life. Go take the money you just made, take the guaranteed money, go back to the islands, just chill, do something, make a coconut farm, do something. But football, it's got to be the last thing on your mind.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I think you got to really sit down with your family, have to do some soul searching, my brother, man. I think you got, like I said, you got to think about the end game long term here, man. Like I said, you got to play the long game. You made plenty of money already in your career already anyway. And if you can't make it, definitely can't make it anything remotely about that. You got to think about your long term health, man, because you don't want to be one of those guys with
Mushy
with that
brain.
CTE, whatever. That yeah, you don't want that. You don't want like that to be like those one of those guys end up
The
killing
NFL needs to
himself
step
and
in.
suicidal and all the kinds of craziness.
The
So
NFL
you
needs
got
to
to, but
fail him.
that's but
Fail him. Just
but
when he goes
that's
through concussion protocol, be like, he's not ready. He's not ready. He's not ready. He's not. If I'm Roger Goodell, I'm calling that doctor right now, and you go, do not put that guy on the field. Do not put him on the field. You know, like just don't. That guy. That's the second time that's happened in like 2 years. Do not put that guy back on the field until he's cleared by either a neurologist or some type of thing. You're not putting that guy on the field. Not in a protocol, none of that. Roger Goodell, do your job, step in, and kibosh him from playing.
I mean, yeah, they need to definitely do something. But definitely do want to shout out James Cook, man. Had a tremendous game last night, getting a hat trick, two rushing touchdowns, and a receiving touchdown. So you know, what I mean, shout out to James Cook on a tremendous performance. Buffalo Bills running back, man. But Josh Allen not having to do too much, but he was pinpoint accurate with what he did have to do. So what he did do. So agree with everything you were saying about him, man. Josh Allen's definitely not. I think a lot of people like to try to call him overrated, man. Like to try to put that stigma on him. But
I'd love
Josh
him on our
Allen
team right
definitely
now.
goes out there and handles his business, man.
Are you kidding me? We're 9+ win team with that guy on our team right now. Right now, today. We're not. I can tell you that right now. Like we would be fighting for the playoffs at least, and maybe more with that guy on our team. So when somebody says he's overrated, look at the look. If you're a Giant fan, Eagle fan, whatever fan, look at your quarterback first before you say it, right? Josh Allen's top five in the league, could be top two, playing like an MVP right now. Hasn't turned the ball over like people have said. I know it's early in the season, but he has 2 games. He carried the Buffalo Bills against Arizona, and in this game, his teammates finally got to carry him for once and say, listen, Josh, you don't got to do all the heavy lifting in James Cook. And if they can get that guy to be a solid back, I'm telling you right now, they're going to be in the Final Four because what they are doing, they have a solid defense. We talk about that, and they play hard and they score with everybody. They have an attitude. They could, and they got 11 days to prepare and some time off. They could be reckoned. They could win the AFC East again, and we could possibly see them in the championship game because that's sometimes you don't know what motivates a player. And when people in the NFL have a poll about you and your name's not Daniel Jones and they say you're an overrated player, this is what you're going to get. And he might be putting the league on notice right now, but it's early. It's early. I don't want to get too excited.
Well, all right, man. Let's go. There's another something on the injury front, man. Christian McCaffrey ruled out once again, week 2 against the Minnesota Vikings. You think this is
So they
something that
drafted
could be,
him.
and the 49ers are considering right now. They are literally they are considering potentially putting them on IR.
For the
So
year or for like 4
any kind
games?
of impact you think this could? I think just for the 4 games. I don't think they mean for the year, but the kind of impact you think this could potentially have for the 49ers going forward, especially if they do have to place him on IR and he has to miss at least another additional at least 4 more games.
Well, obviously none because the guy who came in behind him had over 100 yards rushing. So what he does, what you will lose in the passing game, you make up for in the run game, where you're not gonna maybe put this back that I forget what his name is out wide, but we had a big game, and I think they've done that with Raheem Mostert. They've done that with many other backs where they come in and they can run the football downhill. I think you always want a weapon on the field. Christian McCaffrey is obviously a difference maker, right? But for how they can win games without him with the back that they have right now, I think it's better to rest him because if you're the 49ers long term, you're playing more than 17 games. That's your vision. So if you're trying to keep him, for all we know, he can play another, You might miss four, but maybe they still have 17, right? Because they go to the Super Bowl or something like that, right? So
Mm.
the better move is to keep him on IR or do whatever you're doing right now. It doesn't really matter. I think the only reason I'll put him on IR because I don't think he can really practice with the team. I don't know what the rules are, but he can't come back after a certain week. So who knows? I think it's good for them to, he's a difference maker, but bring him back for the long haul. Remember, 49ers, good team. They're probably trying to play for a postseason. He'll probably be back then. There's no point in putting him in now.
Look, their schedule down the stretch. I mean, it gets a lot tougher than maybe the front half of it. Anyway, this is if ever a time where you can probably where they can probably weather the storm without a weapon like Christian McCaffrey would probably be at this point, this juncture, at this part of their schedule. Got the Vikings this week. You got, I mean, followed up with the Rams. It should definitely be a tough divisional matchup. I mean, that could be a little tricky there. They could actually take an L to the Rams. And then you got the Patriots, Cardinals. Then it starts getting a lot tougher, man. You got the Seahawks, the Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Buccaneers, the Seahawks again, the Packers, the Bills, the Bears, who could at that point in time could maybe get something going. You know what I mean? They had that offense looking the way a lot of people expected to look. The Rams, I mean, and then you got once again the Dolphins, the Lions. So their schedule definitely gets picked. Business definitely picks up for the 49ers in the back end of their schedule. And right about now is if ever a time to be missing CMC. This is probably they're probably lucky that it's right now as opposed to, and maybe they'll be getting have them back for when things get a little bit tougher on that schedule with the teams they'll be dealing with in upcoming weeks. But another big injury on T Higgins, man. Still doubtful on the injury on his report too for the Cincinnati Bengals, man. Big time weapon for Joe Burrow as well, man. He still got Jamar Chase out there, and but T Higgins on the other side is definitely another a big piece to be missing out on. And they've had fans calling out T Higgins this week, in Cincinnati fans saying that they think he's faking it because they don't because he's not getting the new contract he wants. Man, what do you think about the impact of T Higgins with that Bengals offense, especially after what we saw a week ago against the New England Patriots?
Well, you can clearly see that they can't do it with all Jamar Chase, right? Like T Higgins, Jamar Chase can't do it all, right? He needs his Robin, so to speak. T Higgins is their Robin. Now he wants to be paid like Jamar Chase, and maybe the Bengals aren't the team that's paying him, right? But you can clearly see there's an impact when he's on the field. It opens up the offense tremendously. And then let's not forget they also got rid of Joe Mixon, who might also be a factor in why their offense is struggling. They didn't really have anybody to really rely to run the football on offense. And Joe Burrow looks like he needs preseason action. He always takes a little while to get it together. They did hold them to about 16 points or whatever it was, but at the same time they got to do more. And him being injured, I don't know. I'm not going to comment on that because I haven't followed the T Higgins story. But if he is really doing, why would he do that? Like he could do that and not get paid. That's fine. But if people find out that he's dogging it and faking an injury, that's going to lower his value, right? So people will be like, all right, you pulled your oblique or something like that. You pulled something right, you're out. But if he's sitting out and he doesn't really have an injury, then make it a holdout and say I'm holding out. Don't put him on the injury list. Don't hide what he's doing if that's what he's doing. If he's clearly injured, then he's clearly injured. Okay? I can't tell you if he's dogging him or not because I'm not there at practice. But I clearly think it's affecting the Bengals. And a risk like this, because Jamar Chase wants to get paid too. So it's kind of like it's pick your poison. And you have to pay Joe Burrow if you haven't paid Joe Burrow already, right? So this is one to monitor and see how it goes because if the Bengals end up, not being as strong as you think and maybe like 4-8 or something like that, or come the trade deadline, maybe they say, you know what, T Higgins, you've been off the roster enough, go to some other team, and get off our roster while we're here. So monitor that. Hopefully he's injured and not fucking around. I don't think you want to play like that. That's tampering. I think you can get fined for doing that in the NFL by your team. Like if they find out that you, I'm pretty sure if you put somebody in the injury list who's not, they can actually come after you. So
No. Interesting. I was just found it interesting. Like, I mean, I don't. I think as a competitor, I just didn't think of a true competitor like a guy like him. I just can't imagine him actually sitting there,
faking it.
just dogging it. I just, yeah, I just can't. I can't imagine such a thing. But like fans seem to think so. I mean, I think they're just a little bitter, upset over that loss. I mean, it was a terrible loss against New England. We obviously on Sunday. I think people were just, gotta always have something to say, something to be take the frustration out on, and obviously, T. Higgins would have made a big impact in that game, I would think, just because, like you said, it just opens up their offense that much more. But
Change up the coverages.
as I don't really got much, we ain't got much. I could great turn it over to you, Adam, man, if you want to, just get with the
Well,
business.
ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the night, that time of the evening where we get to pick the games from last week and we get to recap the scores for this week, which kind of are a little bit up and down. I have to admit they are a little up and down this year. There's a lot of games that you went chalk or that you picked and you're like, oh, this we knew this was happening. And then there are a few games where you're like, whoa, did this happen? So let's get the games up for you. Let's bring up the sheet. I think I have the sheet up here. I was using it before, looking at it. Da, 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 da. Here we are. Yes, we are here. All right, perfect. So let me close you. Sorry, folks. Live TV. I know it's boring. I have to make sure I have my. I want to make sure I have the right window up for you guys, so you're not, worried about anything. Let's share the screen. Do, 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 do. Present.
It's a great point
I wish I
scoring
had that
too,
up.
Adam. Great point.
I wish we had weekly picks. Okay, sure. I wish we had the ESPN NFL music going on right now. Okay, so while my computer is slow, as you can see, I'm trying to get the NFL.com, but of course it won't work because I didn't put www dot in front of it. What's coming? What's going on here, people? Trying to get NFL.com so we can recap these games, so we can keep these scores going. Now, we should have made a bet. Did we make a bet? What's happening right here? You know, NFL.com is right here, so I'm not going to get this one.
Ready?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right.
Let's go to the NFL.com. Like NFL.com is not loading. So that was great. That was great. Now I wish this is bad radio here. So let me go down the picks anyways. We can definitely what the heck is this? That's not what I wanted. Where is what's happening right now? Oh, there it is. Good. Perfect.
Look, this is
Is it
live
gone?
radio, man. This is why we love live radio, man. Anything can happen.
No, it's not. This is not why we love live radio. This is me being I thought we were going longer on a segment, and we did not go longer as a segment, and my computer is dog shit slow. So that's the reason why we're here stalling and looking like this, like a bunch of idiots. Like, what are you doing? What is this? A stupid segment. I'm turning this off now. You guys are assholes. Yeah, keep that going. Huh. Can we get some NFL Network going over here? You don't get NFL.com to get up? I'm going to have to go to a different website. That one's not working. So we'll go to CBS. I don't know all the games by heart, so let's stop sharing this tab.
I got the games right here.
All right, get the games on. Let's do that. Or stop with all this fugaziness. Let's go from last week. All right, Baltimore. You obviously got that wrong. So
yeah, I
Mac
got that wrong.
That's a loss for that one. I picked KC. Give me the dubs. All right. Dub, and then we both picked Philly, so that was a win. W. Let's just do this. You're killing me, Smalls. Live friggin' radio, people. That's what happens when you don't have a friggin' mouse. You picked Atlanta? Oh my god, terrible. I picked Atlanta too. We're both assholes.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
played
I just really
who
thought they
played
was gonna
Atlanta?
be
Oh,
somebody.
New Orleans. They didn't play New Orleans. Who they play? Oh, Pittsburgh.
Atlanta
Buffalo
played
won last week,
Pittsburgh.
of course. Buffalo played here. Here we go. Tennessee. My God, you got it right. Chicago. I did not think that Chicago was going to beat Tennessee, but Tennessee let me down. Fucking shit the bed. We both picked Cincinnati. Look how way to let us down, Cincinnati. That was terrible. I mean, not as bad as our loss, but still a terrible loss.
Mhm.
Houston Colts. I picked Houston right, and the Colts lost right. So tough game. Anthony Richardson's fucking dope. He's gonna be a good one. Whenever he doesn't get in Jacksonville, I'm surprised. You picked Miami. Wow, I didn't think they were gonna win. And they fucking Jacksonville blew it too. They were up big and they blew it. So I can't. New Orleans. We both picked New Orleans. So I mean, the Panthers are not winning a game this year. I'm sorry. They might be going 0-16. Giants. I don't even want to talk about these fucking
Yeah, I'm
assholes.
just not feeling that confidence with you on that one, Miss.
LA. The Rams. Did the Rams win? Who'd the Rams play? Vegas.
The Rams did not win. The Rams lost to the Lions in overtime on Sunday Night
All right, they
Football.
lost. Then who did I pick? Why did I have the? I think I meant to pay LA. So I'll take the L here. Seattle. We both picked Seattle. They won, thank God. If they lost to Bo Nix, oh my God, that would have been the worst thing to happen. Then we both picked Dallas to win. What a shellacking they put on the Browns, huh? What a friggin' beatdown.
Yes,
Like I know the
indeedy.
Browns are going to be pretty. They might be pretty good this year, but damn, Dallas. Oh, sorry, both picked Dallas. I'm putting a loss. Sorry, I was thinking about the loser Cleveland team with jerk offs. Tampa Bay. You picked Tampa Bay. You picked Washington. Wow. Upset of the week.
I did. I thought that was my upset special of the week, and it just did not work out for me.
Oh, wait, we picked this. This was LA. LA won against Las Vegas. That's what it was. I picked Las. Oh, so I did pick Las Vegas. So that was a loss for me. The LA Chargers played Las Vegas Raiders. So I picked the Raiders. So I will count that as a loss. The Rams lost to Detroit in overtime. I picked the Rams. You picked Detroit. And then the Jets and you picked San Francisco. So you win there. And I picked the Jets. So I think, Mac, if I'm not mistaken, you are the expert in this week's poll. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins. 8 wins. And you have 2, 4, 6. I think you have 8. And then yeah, you have 9. So Mac, you have 9 wins. I have 8 wins this week. So Mac wins the pick'ems this week. On to week number 2.
On the week number two,
Mac, you have the floor as you have the teams. So
I
can
don't,
you present the teams to
I
us
don't know how
right?
to zoom. How the hell do you zoom this shit up? I don't know how to do that.
We are bad at technology, folks. You are getting bad
Yeah, I don't know how to do
technology
any of
here.
that. But New Orleans, the New
We're like,
Orleans
we're, like, like-
Saints
we're like the grumpy old
at
man.
the
We don't know what the
Dallas
hell we're doing.
Cowboys.
Is that game number 1? That's
Yeah,
at
we
one
got the New
o'clock.
Orleans Saints at 1 o'clock. New Orleans Saints,
Wow.
Dallas Cowboys, 1 p.m. in Jerry's World. You got
Who do I have? Oh my God. I am picking the Dallas Cowboys to win that game. I know people are going to be mad about that, but that defense came out ferocious. They're in Jerry's world. The Saints don't travel well on the road, so that's where I'm going with that. So I'm going with Dallas.
I absolutely like the Dallas Cowboys here as well. That defense looked downright scary a week ago, And the Dallas Cowboys are not the Carolina Panthers, and the New Orleans Saints are going to definitely find that out on Sunday. So, yeah, Saints should look great on Sunday, beating up on the Carolina Panthers. But this is a completely different animal in this Dallas Cowboys team, and the offense didn't even have to do that much last week. So look out, look out. I like the Cowboys here. Next up, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers visiting the Detroit Lions. Rematch from the postseason,
Mm,
the divisional round. Both
Divisional
teams
round.
coming in 1-0. I mean, I'll go
Ooh,
first on this one if you don't mind,
yes, yes.
and I think I think I think the Detroit Lions gonna get that 2-0, man. I think they're gonna
Oh,
take care of Tampa Bay once again.
Detroit.
I mean, Baker Mayfield coming off of an amazing performance a week ago, but I think they'll have some struggles this week against the Detroit Lions, and I think the Lions will get the job done, man. I think the Lions are on a mission this season. That's my Super Bowl pick out the NFC, the Detroit
Wow.
Lions. Yeah,
Well,
sounds
I am
crazy when you
gonna.
say some shit like that, right? The Detroit Lions
Detroit Lions are your pick
in the Super
for
Bowl.
the Super Bowl. Have you? I mean, like God, people. I don't think those words have ever been uttered in the football season ever. Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl. Like, wow, that's how far we've come these days. But I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield taking revenge for that divisional playoff game. They were in it to win it last year. They just couldn't quite get over the hump. I think they do it. I think that this is the game they circled on their calendar, and they're going to come out. And I think Tampa Bay is going to, give the Lions their first loss. Doesn't mean the Lions won't still go to the Super Bowl, folks. They're going to have a few losses here. Tampa Bay will be one of them.
All right, all right. Next up, AR5. Anthony Richardson taking leading the Indianapolis Colts into Green Bay, where the Green Bay Packers seem to keep thinking they're fooling somebody by actually insinuating Jordan Love may play. I'm not believing that hype. And I think this is going to be a tough task for the Green Bay Packers, watching the way the Colts hung in there with the Houston Texans a week ago, man, and just seeing how the explosiveness, how Anthony Richardson, his development. I mean, coming in the year two. I think the Colts get him right here. I think Malik Willis is just not going to be enough. He's not going to have. He's not going to be effective enough to lead this Green Bay Packers football team over the Indianapolis Colts, even at home. I got to go to Colts here.
I will also agree. I think if they had Jordan Love, might be a different story. But as much as I like Malik Willis, I just think when you're a team like the Colts and this guy is getting first team reps for the first time, really in a game, you need to come with it. This is the game that you're supposed to win because this is a backup quarterback. You lost last week. Get back in the race right now and start your season right now by beating this team that's wounded right now. I said right now a lot, but that's kind of funny. But they're wounded, right? They're going through the motions. They're going to probably have to give the ball to Josh Jacobs a lot. If I was Matt LaFleur, I would probably want to try to protect him and make Jacobs the featured guy, and make Malik Willis not have to think in this game, right? So that's what I would do. But with that being said, I think Indianapolis is going to just be slightly too much for them offensively or defensively for this young quarterback. And I think that's what's going to be the difference. I could be wrong. Maybe Matt LaFleur finds another gem and Malik Willis throws for 300 yards and looks crazy. Who knows? But I'm going with Indy.
It makes us all look foolish. It could happen, I suppose. All right, next up, we got the New York Jets headed down to Music City in Nashville, taking on them Tennessee Titans. These two 0-1 football teams, one of them looking to get off the schneid. And who do you think is going to be, Adam?
Well, I picked the Jets last week. I'm going to pick the Jets again this week. Don't let me down again in Music City. This is a team that you should beat. You went to you pumped a little bit above your weight class. You dipped your toe in the heavyweight side of things, or what you would need to do to beat a team like San Francisco. Well, Tennessee ain't San Francisco. It's a team you match up better against. It's a team that you should that's more in your weight class, and probably not headed in the direction that you're supposed to be headed in. So if we want to believe that the Jets are going to be a good team, and this will be the last time I pick the Jets. If the Jets lose this game, it must be me that's the curse. So if they lose this game, I'm never picking the Jets again. However, I'm picking the Jets here just because I think they're going to have too much firepower against Tennessee.
Well, I am picking the Jets here, and it's not even about the firepower on the offensive side of the football. It's going back to even the game on Monday night. Yeah, the 49ers kicked their teeth in, but at the end of the day, the Jets were holding the 49ers to a lot of field goals, and the Tennessee Titans are not the 49ers. That offense does not cook the way the 49ers offense cooks. And I think the Jets defense is going to be the deciding factor here. I think forcing mistakes out of Will Levis potentially, and I just think they're going to be getting after it, man. So I think the Jets win this with a big time and very impressive defensive performance. I like the New York Jets here. Next up, the San Francisco 49ers going to the land of 1,000 lakes in Minnesota, taking on those Vikings, coming off the big victory against the New York Giants on Sunday at MetLife Stadium. 49ers is definitely a whole different caliber of opponent for Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings, man. How you see this one playing out?
Well, I think San Francisco is going to beat Sam Darnold and the Vikings. Now, I will say this, I don't know what competitive edge they has. Sam Darnold could always sprinkle a little bit of things. He's not going to be unfamiliar with their defense. So while he may revert back to old Sam Darnold, don't be surprised if he does move the ball a little bit. He doesn't have to be. He's probably not going to be spectacular. I don't think they're going to win this game. I don't think they have. Let's put it this way: they have a decent defense, which I think will keep them in the game. I just don't think they have the quarterback to keep them in the game. And with a defense like this, look what they did to Aaron Rodgers, who's a Hall of Famer, right? And we're going to say that Sam Darnold, who's not a Hall of Famer, is going to be bottled up. I'm going to take San Francisco.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. I think San Fran, I mean, it's definitely the pick here. Minnesota, look, you went in there, you kicked the Giants' teeth in.
Ugh.
Look, let's face it, the Giants are bottom feeders. The San Fran, they're very much Super Bowl contenders, and
The
they're
class, the
in it
NFC.
for that. They're a Super Bowl or bust kind of team. So like the 49ers here, I think it's just going to be way too much on both sides of the football. To be quite frank, I think it's too much on offense, too much on defense. Give me some Debo, baby. Give me some more Debo this week, San Fran. So, yeah, I like the 49ers. Next up, the Seattle Seahawks taking that long trip all the way across to the East Coast, the
Wow.
Northeast Coast,
Ooh.
taking on them New England Patriots at 1
Dang.
o'clock up in Foxborough or Gillette or whatever the name of the stadium is these days. But what do you think? Who do you think? See, I mean, Patriots coming off the big win last week, big upset victory, upset of the week against Cincinnati Bengals. You think they have more of that magic against the Seattle
Um,
Seahawks?
I don't. I think Seattle's defense is a little probably on par with Cincinnati. I think their offense is what's really going to take over for them because they weren't playing. Cincinnati wasn't playing at their best, and I could see Seattle with the run game run downhill. That's what they're going to do. They're going to run down your throat, and I think Jacoby Brissett is going to have some trouble against that Seattle secondary this year. So I'm going to go with Seattle, but you know what? I wouldn't be, I'm just going to go with Seattle. Let me stick with my guns and not give you a half-hearted answer. I'm going to stick with it and live with it. So I'm going to go with Seattle.
Yeah, I think New England, they came out. It was sharp. It was impressive what they did Cincinnati a week ago. But I think Seattle, even though that we talk about that West Coast East Coast trip isn't that's a hard deal, but I think they go out there and they handle their business, man. I think they fly over there and take
They
care
need
of
to.
the New England Patriots because they're just a flat out better team, and this is not the kind of games you can afford to drop out there in that tough NFC West division with the Rams and the 49ers
Exactly.
that you're gonna have to be out there competing with. So yeah,
And, and,
I like
and
Seattle
Arizona.
here.
Arizona
So
scored 30 something points. So they're going to be a
I
thorn,
mean,
right? So,
they I mean, yeah, Arizona, but they're still
well, I
gonna
guess
lose
what I'm
until
saying is,
proven otherwise.
not necessarily competing, but what I mean is like you can't just sleep on these teams because the Rams, the Arizona, they're all going to fight to beat you. So if you have a chance to have a game like this for Seattle, where we clearly are the better team, it's very important. I feel they need to win this game because, like you said, we have the Rams and you have San Francisco. You know, and I don't know who the Rams play this week. We'll find out, but they could end up 1-1. Do you want to be do you want to be in front and control your own destiny going forward, or do you want to kind of be that team? Seattle got to win. These are the games you got to win.
Well, next up, guys, 1 o'clock. The race for third place, baby. The race for third place is on in the NFC East. Week 2, New York Giants traveling down to the Landover, Maryland, and take on them Washington Commanders. The race for third place, Adam. Who you got in the race for third place, man?
Well, unfortunately, I'm going to stick with my original pick early on when we picked the schedule release. When I said the Giants would be 1-1, I thought they would lose this game because it's the home opener for Washington, and I think I'm just going to stick with that because again, I don't do well picking the Giants, so I'm going to pick Washington. And here are some of the reasons why I think Washington, might have a chance, and that is one, they had I wouldn't say a great game, but a lot of people are shitting on them. And I look at what they did and kind of how they played against Tampa Bay, and I'm like, they played above their weight class. That's a team that they're not supposed to be on the same level with. The Giants are on the same level with. It's not like it's not like they can't beat the Giants, right? They haven't beaten the Giants for various reasons, and their quarterback hasn't been Jaden Daniels. They've had many other quarterbacks who haven't done well or have been caca. Jaden Daniels hasn't done much, but he did have a decent performance to earn himself rookie offensive player of the week this week, right? So that means they thought enough about him to get him rookie of the week honors, at least offensive rookie of the week honors. So to me, after what I saw with the Giants last week, I can't rely on them to be a favorite in a game of any caliber, especially how they played all around. There was bad coaching, there was bad play calling, and the leader of our team's an absolute joke. And we can laugh all you want, but they wasn't doing anything exotic against Minnesota. Minnesota didn't come out and they didn't say, yeah, we blitzed them here, we blitzed them there. They basically played basic defense. They ran a few stunts here, a few blitzes here. So my point is, Dan Quinn's going to have a plan for that ass. And if you think about it, I read some press clippings with the Commanders. They believe they can win. Their beat reporters believe they can win. They believe they can win. And that's all they need. And we have a quarterback that's lacking in confidence, an offense that's struggling to score points. They scored 20 points on a better defense and arguably could have scored 26 points with the 2 field goals and maybe more if they hit a deep pass. But the field goals, they actually had a chance to make those. So we can count those as potential points. So they had a potential to score 26 points. We had 6. How can I go in there and believe that this team who came off of losing to Tampa Bay, who comes over and looks at us and saw what we did against the Vikings, who are not a great team, and are going to stare at us and be like, we're going to lose to you? Daniel fucking Jones? Get out of here. So, and I just think defensively they got a solid, competent defense. Their secondary is not great, but they were going up against Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. This week they're not going up against that trio of player, that caliber of receiving core. They're not going up with that caliber of quarterback who is hot right now in Baker Mayfield. Okay, they're not. So they have a chance. So, but I'm going with my original pick, stick and pick, as they say. So, Mac?
Yeah, real quick, no Mets, no Nets, no Jets. I'm not a gambler. I don't do any betting. It's just not my thing. I just like my money, and I rather not give it away. So yeah, I don't do that. It's not what I do. Worked in a casino for 10 years too, so I seen it's just
It's too
kind
much.
of shy away from the gambling thing. But yeah, as far as this game goes, man, look, based off of just what I saw a week ago, I just find it almost impossible to pick the New York Giants here. But just that still that thing in the back of your mind that just like it's literally the only thing Daniel Jones has consistently done his whole entire career is play very really good football games against the Washington Commanders. Whatever it is, I don't. It just something. It just puts like that S on his chest, like he's Superman when he sees those colors, that team. He just has a way. I mean, like I said, you go back to even that Thursday night game where they did lose. The only time he lost to the Washington Commanders. I mean, it wasn't because of him. You could legitimately say it wasn't because of the quarterback that night. He did what he had to do. He went out there and he balled out, and other people let him down that particular night. So it's tough, but I can't. After what I saw a week ago, I think Washington ends all of that, and I just think Washington Commanders get the Giants here. I got it. They have to prove they're back in prove it mode for me again. There's no you don't get Giants don't get the benefit of the doubt right now at this point. Not coming off of a performance like that, they can't get the benefit of the doubt just because it's the Washington Commanders. And I'm gonna throw this out there once again just to reiterate to anybody that may not have heard me when I've said it before. I don't care if Daniel Jones goes out and has a great game against the Washington Commanders because he's always done that. Show me something I haven't seen from Daniel Jones, okay?
They ain't
And
beating the
I've
Cowboys.
seen you have several good games against the Washington Commanders, okay? So
They
that's
ain't
not
beating
going to
the
make
Cowboys.
me feel any differently about you if you come out and have another good game against the Washington Commanders. All right,
Well,
so
that's what's going to
enough is
happen.
enough with that.
Let's just play that scenario real quick before we go to the next game. He's going to win. They're going to prop him up. They're going to say, "See, we're not bad. We're not bad. We're bad." And then you meet the Cleveland Browns defense, and it's a whole nother story. So, like you said, Mac, whatever happens in this game is not moving the needle for me. What moves the needle for me is if you go down on Thursday night and beat the Dallas Cowboys, then we'll have something to talk about.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, just based off of that, I got to go Washington, man. That's my final answer, man. Let's
I put
move
you
it
down
on.
for
Oh, from one bad team to another. It's the Los Angeles Chargers taking the West to East Coast trip, taking on them Carolina Panthers, the only team I think might actually be worse than the Giants, and it's only a might right now. Uh, I mean, I'll go. I'll take this one away real quick first, man. I think the Chargers win. I think they're going to come out with their new offensive philosophy and just run the ball right down the Carolina Panthers' throat, man. I think they're going to get a lot of J.K. Dobbins, and I think Justin Herbert's going to do obviously everything he needs to do, which I'm sure he'll be perfectly fine at because he's still, I believe, an elite quarterback in this league. Uh, so I like the Chargers here, man. I don't think there's much much discussion needs to be said. But who
Well,
you
I
got,
think
man?
Herbert's going to look good in this game, but I think people need to understand what Harbaugh is. He wants to run the football. So if his running back has 200 yards and his quarterback has 150, that's fine with him. He's going to need that quarterback at some point down the stretch to win him a game or two. So he'll do what he did with J.J. McCarthy and that type of team. He's going to have an elite quarterback that's going to know how to run this offense and be efficient. And eventually, Herbert, you're going to see the big games come to fruition as they establish themselves. I'm not worried about it. I actually love it. This will be the first time that he's 2-0 in his division right now. So, boom. Hey, no Mets. I didn't even get to make my pick yet. You're already going to the next game? I got the Chargers.
You got the Chargers. All right, good stuff, good stuff. I mean, I just can't imagine the Panthers knocking that team off. But stranger things have happened in the NFL. All
Yes.
right, next up in the 1 o'clock window, the Cleveland Browns headed down to the Panhandle, taking on them Jacksonville Jaguars. Man, who you got?
Well, the reason I'm picking the Browns is not because I think they're going to win. I just need them to be 1-1. That if the Giants are 1-1, that they won't destroy us because they're going to be angry about being 0-2, right? So I think they're gonna give fits to Trevor Lawrence. This is a game where Trevor Lawrence, if you're the guy we think you are, you got to beat this defense. They had their ups and downs with the Cowboys offense last week, but this ain't the Cowboys offense coming in. This is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have Evan Ingram and they have a couple of receivers, but they're not as explosive as the Cowboys, not as dominant as the offensive line. So I believe you got to come through. But no, that's your ridiculous. But I think the Browns are going to beat this team more so because I just think their defense is going to give Trevor Lawrence some trouble, and that's going to keep him in the game. And Deshaun Watson, while he played terribly, there are some passes in the game where if his teams caught them, they're in position to kick field goals and get into scoring position. So if they can clean that up a little bit, um, they'll win. If he happens to be the reason that they do lose, if I'm Stefanski, I'm thinking about Jameson Winston, and I think my landing spot would be the New York Giants. If you're 0-2 going into New York, there's got to be hefty changes, especially if he's not playing well. So, but I'm picking Browns.
I actually like the Browns as well. Pretty much for a lot of the reasons you just said. I think that they're going to get the heat on Justin on Trevor Lawrence, and I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have one of those bad turnover type of days against this Cleveland Brown defense. Man, I can see a pick six in the mix. Maybe a fumble,
Pick
couple
six
fumbles.
in the
I
mix.
just think he's going to have a rough day against this defense, man. So I like the Cleveland Browns as well.
Sorry, sounded like a
All
rap song.
right, now we're still in the 1 o'clock window, man. Here,
Damn. Damn.
the final game, the
You don't
final
want me doing
game of the one
anything at 1
o'clock
o'clock.
window. We got the Las Vegas Raiders headed over to Baltimore, take
Hell,
on them Ravens. Both these teams coming in 0-1,
Ravens
but
going to win.
one's a little bit better than the other. I'll let you take it away.
Listen, the Ravens are frothing at the mouth right now. They had a game they probably should have won because their quarterback may have missed the third down throw, but he had an electric throw to Isaiah Likely. They've been stewing on this for 10 days. I hate to be you Raiders coming off a loss in your building, and now you're going to another building to a team that's angry, that's going to be very mad and very ornery, and it's their home opener, and they're going to look to kick somebody in the teeth, and your teeth are the ones they're going to kick in. So I'm sorry that that's going to happen to you, but it is. And Gardner Minshew, God bless you, but that Ravens defense, they're angry. They let Kansas City go up and down the field, score 27 points on them. They're going to come out here and say, "You're Gardner Minshew. You're not going to score a damn thing on us. So be ready." I think it's going to be a big time win for the Ravens. I'm thinking 27-10 Ravens.
Yeah, I pretty much agree once again. I know Miz up in the chat earlier said this is gonna be upset of the week. He believes Raiders over the Ravens. Yeah, I just can't get behind that.
No way.
But
No way.
good luck to you.
You know why? Because
I think
The
Baltimore
Ravens
wins this.
know the opportunity they blew last week in Arrowhead. Okay, and they've been in national media. Their quarterback's been much maligned. He had a hero game. He played a good game. I know he missed some throws that would have won, but he had the throw that could have won the game. And if he did win the game, we're talking about how great he is, as opposed to he should have won the game in the third period. No, you would have praised him. The guy was out by a fucking centimeter. Okay, so I just think the Raiders aren't going to have the firepower.
Jesus.
Yeah, less than a millimeter. Like what are we talking about here? So I think he's going to have a good game again. I think Lamar Jackson's going to show you why he's in the MVP race, and this is where they start their ascent to domination in the AFC.
Well, all right, all right. Not definitely the Ravens, man. Like I said, like you said, everything you said. Now we are into the 4 o'clock window. And first up, we got a battle out in the NFC West. The Los Angeles Rams headed to the desert to take on the Arizona Cardinals. Who you got, Adam?
Upset of the week, Arizona Cardinals home opener. They steal one from the Rams in their first divisional matchup. They played a good game against Buffalo. They probably should have beaten Buffalo. They were up in that game. I think they're going to come out swinging here, and I think they're going to steal one. We talk about the AFC West, the NFC West. It's going to come down to the last couple of teams jockeying for position. Arizona, don't let me down. Upset of the week, baby. I smell it. It's coming this one.
Well, finally, we disagree. Rams coming off a heartbreaker Sunday night football overtime against the Detroit Lions, man. I think the Rams absolutely take it to the Cardinals. I think you're going to see the reemergence of Cooper Cup in that offense, or Puka Nakua now on the shelf for a few weeks. And I think you're gonna get a lot of Kyron Williams, and I think the Rams take it to him. I can see I can kind of see the Cardinals coming out and really trying to force feed Marvin Harrison Jr. to get him going after the disappointing debut a week ago against Buffalo. So I think that could lead to some mistakes and such. And I just think the Rams are gonna annihilate them, absolutely annihilate them. But we'll see what happens.
It's why they play the
Next
games.
up, next up, woo, the Pittsburgh Steelers headed to the Mile High City. And I know the Steeler defense is salivating to get a crack at that rookie quarterback up there, Bo Nix, man. Another tough task for the rookie quarterback here in week 2,
Brown
man.
like dogs.
Another another ferocious defense, man. What you think about this one, Adam?
Well, you heard of Steel Curtain. Well, it's going to be a reincarnation of that because Bo Nix is going to get his welcome to the NFL moment from the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense is no joke. They don't play around. They eat quarterbacks like this for lunch. And these all they did to Kirk Cousins on one bad leg. Kirk Cousins has 12 years experience. What do you think they're going to do to this kid who's been here for 12 minutes? So if I was Bo Nix, I'd say my last rites or write my obituary because I may not be coming home after this game. Because Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be looking at you like we're not losing. We're not losing, at least on defense. Offensively, the Denver Broncos defense, you're going down to force turnovers. Justin Fields will probably be starting. That's where you have to take advantage of this game. I'm still going with Pittsburgh, but if you're Denver, you have to take advantage of Justin Fields. This is a game where you cannot leave your rush lane. He is going to run. That is what he does best. And that's what he's going to do in this offense. Do not stop. Do not play hero ball because if you play hero ball, you better hit him. If you miss, if I'm the coach and I'm your coach and I'm in the meeting room and I tell you don't do hero ball and one of you guys says, well, but coach, I'm going to be like, look, I will fine your ass if you miss. So if you get it, more power to you. But if you miss and he scores a touchdown or something, your ass is on being fined. So, that's what I would say. I don't think Denver is going to do that, mess up too much, but that's what I would say to them. Stay your rush lane. Sorry, that was long-winded, Mac.
There it is. Here we come to that time of the moment, that portion of the show where I'm going to dial it up, the upset special of the week. The Denver Broncos, led by the rookie Bo Nix, knocking off the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's what I said. And I know I'm not. Y'all might think I'm crazy, but I just, you
Wow.
know, I just see it happening. Denver,
Wow.
I see him getting his first NFL victory
Mac.
over the
Wow. But the
Pittsburgh
Pittsburgh Steelers,
Steelers.
yeah. I hope Tomlin's listening because if I'm Mike Tomlin, that's how I'm motivating the boys right now. But don't be his first win. Don't be his first win. That's all I gotta say if I was Mike Tomlin. Don't be his first win.
Well, all right. Next up, man. Next up, got the Cincinnati Bengals visiting the champs over in Kansas City, man. Whew, this Cincinnati coming off a disappointing week one. The Kansas City Chiefs hung on, got the W at home, and opening up the season against the Ravens, man. I don't know how you see this one, Adam. I know how you feel about the Bengals, man, but how do you see this one going down?
How do you have two teams in the NFL that you like, you know, both be so shitty, right? As you guys know, my second favorite team on the AFC side is the Bengals. And last week was a disappointing loss. This week, I want to believe in them, but they haven't played well offensively. Defensively, they're not bad, but how can I go up against Patrick Mahomes? I can't. So, Bengals, you're going to be 0-2 this week. I'm sorry to say that. This one, you should have won against New England, and we wouldn't be talking about this. We'd talk about, yeah, lose this game, on to the next one. Now your season's on the brink at 0-2. Kansas City has taken the W. I'm sorry, Bengals.
Yeah, I just think it's going to Kansas City is too much, man. Patrick Mahomes is too much. Kansas City is too much, and I think what people still continue to sleep on is how good Kansas City's defense is, man.
Oh, they're
Tremendous
very
unit on that side. Steve Spagnuolo got that. It's got that got that defense clicking, man. And
dialed
I
up.
just think it just the Chiefs are they're going to be they're the Chiefs. They're going to be there at the end once again because that's just what they do, man. I mean, they're just a special unit right now. So I can't bet against the Chiefs right now. God don't win it against the Bengals. Now let's get to the prime time Sunday night football.
Wow.
The Chicago Bears 1-0 coming off the big come from behind victory in Nashville. Against Tennessee a week ago, taking on C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. I'll take this one first if you don't mind, sir.
Yes, sir.
And I like the Houston Texans here, and I like the Houston Texans by a lot. I think this is going to be a blowout on Sunday night, a massacre down in the Lone Star State. As Caleb Williams really he looked abysmal a week ago. He looked terrible. There's no other better way to put it. I mean, he ranked the rookies from a week ago. Jaden Daniels by far was the best. Bo Nix probably was a little better than Caleb Williams a week ago. This Caleb Williams and this is going to be a tough task on with all the bright lights shining on you, man, on prime time against this Houston Texans team. I think they're loaded, and I think this team is also a threat in that AFC, man. And I think this is going to end badly for the Bears. I think the Texans win this, steamroll them. I think they steamroll the Bears, and it gets even competitive.
Well, Mac, I agree. I was contemplating this while you were talking. I was thinking, maybe I'll go that guy. I'll go on a limb and say, Chicago, but Houston. This is where you need to win. This game is gifted to you as a gift from the NFL to get you off on the right foot. 2-0. Get your shit together. Prime time. Houston Texans, you've earned that shit. Chicago, you haven't done a damn thing except pick the first overall pick. But we love the theater. We love the drama. I hope it's a good game and not a blowout. I want to see some good future quarterback play. But I love the fact that C.J. Stroud is finally going to be in my living room on Sunday evening. He deserves it. This is a stepping stone in the right direction. I believe if we want to make these guys contenders, they've got to make this not a game, make it a no contest. So I'm picking Houston.
Yeah, definitely agree. Definitely agree. And we here finally get to the end of the week, Monday night football. You got the Atlanta Falcons, probably the biggest disappointment of week one, traveling to Philly for the Eagles' home opener on Monday Night Football at the Link. Adam, who you got?
You know that song taps, brr, 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 when they play for the fallen one. That's what's going to happen in Atlanta. You're dying on Sunday, on Monday night. You are going to get beat the guitar off of you. That Eagle team, that fan base is going to be rap. You see what they did in Brazil, not in front of their fans. Now you're going to bring that offense to their fans. I mean, my God, who knows what Saquon Barkley's going to do? And I understand that the Eagles don't have a great defense, and we'll see what happens with Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins looks unhealthy. People, he looks like he's not ready to play. You paid him that money, that's why you're traipsing him out there. I don't know. If I were them, if they lose this game, Atlanta, you might want to think about a switch and say, you know what, we're going to put in Penix, and the rest is history, and just see what happens. And now you have an expensive backup who could help you down the road. But if he wins this game, then you're obviously going to keep him in the lineup. But I think the Eagles are going to want to put on a show on Monday night in front of their hometown, in front of their home fans. Yeah, they put up 34 against the Green Bay Packers. I think they're going to absolutely destroy Atlanta. I'm sorry, Atlanta. I just think you're hitting a team that's trying to make moves, and you're in their way, and you're not healthy, and your quarterback's not healthy, and I think that's going to show up on Monday.
Yeah, I think this is another blowout in prime time, man. I think Eagles are going to absolutely roll. I think that stadium. I mean, I know what the link is like, man. And that stadium is going to be
Wow.
absolutely bananas, man. Saquon Barkley making his Philadelphia debut, man. I mean, obviously he's played many games with the link, but never with that uniform on. And I think that place is going to go absolutely berserk, man. And I think it's going to be way too much for the Atlanta Falcons to handle. Honestly, we may even see a Michael Penix appearance in this football game before it's all said and done. I
Wow.
think uh, I think the Eagles win this one
Now
big,
that's a premium take.
big. I think they
That's a premium take.
so. That's what we got here, folks. That's the pick'em segment for the week, and should be some interesting football. We will see, man. We will see, man. It should be some curious what the Giants do, man. All this craziness, everything they got going on, this football team. I'm curious to see if they can come out and at least look competent. It's not so much about the quarterback because, like I said, I can care less what he does at this point against the Washington Commanders because we've seen that story all too many times before. But I just want to see the rest of the team because, like I said, Daniel, we've made a lot of this about Daniel Jones, but let's face it, there were some other things, some other issues with this football team, and some things that need to be cleaned up. So I'm curious. That's what I'm going to be curious to be have my eye on that this team can come out and at least like a competent NFL football team this week because they did not a week ago against the Minnesota Vikings. But I don't know if you got anything else, Adam, that you want to add before we get out of here.
Not really. I mean, it's a big game on Sunday for the Giants. Obviously, it's sad. Either way, the only way it really is catastrophic is by the loss. They win, it's not going to do anything. They're going to win a few games this year. Washington might be one of them. Like I said to you, we talk about the Eagles and the link. Well, they're going down to a refreshed stadium in Washington, where they feel good about their team and they feel good about what they're doing, and they're going to be excited to see Jaden Daniels. Like I said, it couldn't have been a better week for Jaden Daniels to win Offensive Rookie of the Week because that is going to be something that you know that's going to be something that just sets him off. And I agree with you, no Mets. There's something rotten in Denmark. Even if they win, I don't think it's going to be one of those wins where you're like, oh, yeah, we're going to the playoffs. It's going to be one of those wins like, what is the real problem with this team? And then you're going to face good defenses like we have coming up in Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Dallas. You got Philadelphia, Seattle, all in a span of the next 6 to 7 weeks. That's where your season ends. If you play off, I don't think offensively with number 8 under center, they're going to be much better than we think. I'm sorry. Tiger don't change his stripes. You're working on his footwork now, week 6, year 6. A lot of stuff's going on wrong. But if they lose, guess what? Turn up the heat on Joe Shane and Brian Dable. And that's all I have to say for that. Sorry I went long winded. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And, thank you for stopping in too, Cameron. Definitely appreciate it, man. But what's going on, Mosley, man? Good to see you, brother. Thanks for stopping in, man. But most definitely, man. Shout out to my New York Mets, man. Still out there doing the damn thing, having a hell of a second half of the season, man. Gotta love it. Just beat up on the Phillies tonight, man. 11-3. Mets still in the thick of things, man. In that wild card run, man. That wild card chasing, they actually still got. They can even maybe run down the Phillies if the Phillies stumble up a little bit, man. So let's go, New York Mets, baby. Y'all let me, y'all making me feel good about baseball again out there, man. Let's go. Let's get y'all into the postseason. But that's all we got, man. Thanks for tuning into another edition of the Premium Takes Podcast. This is myself, Adam Costas. Hopefully, we'll never know. Maybe we'll get Zion back sometime in the near future, man. When he knows get some things straightened out. But throw them fours up for our guy NYG Jeffy T, man. Always here with us, man. No doubt, indeed, man. No doubt, indeed. I'm Mac the Giants fan. That's my guy Adam Costas. This has been another edition of the Premium Takes Podcast. Peace.